We're Ashley and Ivan. For the last 10 years, we've worked as a husband and wife team in nonprofit and business.
We know both the joy and the tension that comes from working with your spouse. That's why we're so passionate about helping other Christian couples who lead and work together to turn tension into teamwork, communicate clearly, and lead as one.
Let's go on this journey together.
Hey, welcome to the podcast. My name is Ivan.
I'm Ashley.
And today we are talking about working with your spouse. Ooh, best decision?
Or the worst decision.
Dun, dun, dun. So why did we start this podcast?
Yeah, we want to encourage other Jesus-loving couples who are working together. I mean, some formally, informally, in a ministry or business setting, whatever it may be, that you would actually love working together.
Mm-hmm.
Turn tension into teamwork. You can communicate effectively and peacefully. And also, lead as one. That was the heart behind why we started this podcast.
Yeah, we've been on a journey ourselves of learning about this kind of through the good, the bad, and the ugly for the last 10 years. And it'll actually be 10 years we've been working with each other this fall, which is kind of crazy. Started out in our engagement and has kind of continued through in different capacities over the years. And our heart in this first episode is just sharing a bit of our story, hopefully to normalize a bit of what couples experience as they begin to work with each other. But also we want to share some just wisdom and insight that we've learned that we think would be really helpful for you.
More like the mistakes.
Yeah, exactly. Learn from our mistakes. That's a great way to put it. And also just one big assumption we found that was common for us as well as other couples that we've coached and worked with in working with one another. And so we're excited. We're looking forward to just serving you in this way. Maybe you could share a little bit about Priscilla and Aquila and what's that all about?
Yeah, as we were working in a nonprofit mission organization, I would often lead a large international gatherings, and Ivan would help me run these events. And then
She was my boss.
Yes, I was his boss. And Ivan would be leading other type of ministries, and I would support him. And so we would always kind of lead one another, but work together. At one point, I was feeling, I think we're supposed to lead side by side together. I don't know a lot of other couples that would be working together like that. And so I was searching and looking, and our mentors actually would say, hey, you guys will have a Priscilla and Aquila anointing. I don't even know what that was. And turns out these are people in the Bible that supported Paul, and they were business makers, and they tent makers. They were tent makers, not business makers. And they would support Paul's ministry as well as teaching other people and house churches and things like that. And they would always be mentioned together. And I felt in my heart that I think Ivan and I are supposed to work together, whatever capacity. I don't know what that looks like. And this was even before Life DO even started. So I was just kind of dreaming about these things. And someone came to us and was praying over us and said kind of the same thing. Hey, I see you two together. You guys are leading side by side. And I was thinking about this large tire, kind of like, the CrossFit tire that I can't move. He's a CrossFit coach. You can't move on your own, but you would have to do it together to push this large tire. And I see you doing it together, and that I feel like there is something special about you two working together. And so that was kind of what was planted in my heart. And it didn't happen right away.
I think those early years when we first started, God was making it clear, like, hey, there's something about you guys really doing stuff together. We say like side by side or shoulder to shoulder, leading together. And I think what was really helpful was we had some experiences that gave us some confidence that we could actually do it. Like these events, they were massive, often hundreds, thousands of people, different languages, multi-day. And they were a good little test for us to see, can we actually work together under stressful environments? Because if you've ever run events before, nothing goes as planned. There's always things you need to pivot and change on. And you really need to work as one and communicate. And she would often be running kind of the overview, and I'd run the floor with the team of whether they were mostly volunteers of doing different things. And so we really had to work well with one another. And I think that kind of gave us some confidence that, hey, we could actually do it. And kind of put this dream in our heart of, man, it would be amazing to be able to work together. We love each other. We love being around one another. We love our marriage. It's not perfect, but we're working on it. And it's really a place that we find strength and refuge and encouragement from. And so it God kind of put this dream in our heart for us to do something like that. But it took about 5 years, actually. As we began to step into it, God took us through this big transition and things like that. But really, things began to come to fruition around Life Duo and coaching, wanting to help people and really see them step into what God's called for them. And as we began to start Life Duo and really do this together, it got much harder, much faster than we thought, right? What was the reality like kind of working with each other?
I think I realized that because I was his boss and he was a good employee for me, that that it's gonna work. And I just had a naive sense that it's all gonna be okay, and it's gonna be so much
Yeah,
fun.
what could go wrong, right? We love each other. This is
Uh,
amazing. It's going to be awesome. God called us to it. Therefore, it's going to be easy and fast and
we
it's all going to
worked through
work.
some hard life stuff with infertility journeys, and so we knew that hey, we've gone through hard things together. We can do business together, like no problem. No, I was all wrong. I was finding things about Ivan that I didn't know about before. The tendencies that he had that would frustrate me. And then I would be telling him like, why are you like this? I never knew this about you. This is so frustrating. I can't work with you anymore. And then so we would get in these fights and
A bit of context, I think, is always helpful with this. Like, I think any entrepreneurial journey, whether that's starting a ministry maybe use the word pioneering, business use entrepreneur, any of that is always going to be very testing for whoever's in it. I think also too, it's a very big time of self-discovery. There were things we didn't even know about each other because we're interacting now in a new way that we hadn't known.
I was also stepping into something that I wasn't ready for, or doing things that I was never used to, or things that I'm fear, personal things, relationship things, marriage, and new things that we're starting, and there's finances that's involved. And so it got really complicated really quickly.
Yeah, and that's the assumption we've found is that most couples make is if you have an amazing and strong and great marriage, then working with each other is going to be easy and going to come really naturally to you. And the truth is, we just found that that isn't the case. Now, it's amazing to have a great marriage. And I would say you need to have a very strong marriage if you're going to start working with one another full time in any capacity, because working with one another, it tests your marriage
Yes.
in a unique way that, yeah, when you're not working beside each other, it doesn't maybe touch certain things as intensely or as maybe as fast. Obviously, marriage in itself is hard to some degree and very rewarding. But when you're working with your spouse, it just doesn't stay at the office. It follows you home. And there's a deeper context of what's going on there. And so if you are working with your spouse or you're thinking about it and considering it, just take a good hard look at that assumption in your life because it was true for us. What came out of that assumption was just the wrong expectation. And so when you think you're coming in, oh, this is going to be amazing, it's going to be easy, like we love each other, it's going to be great. And then a month or two down the road, you start kind of stepping on each other's toes, butting heads, tug of war. Slowly it gets more intense. It sets us up for like, wait, what? Like, we love each other. Why are we fighting so much? Why is this so hard? And that can produce a lot of discouragement and even doubt of like, dang, did we make the wrong decision? I can't go anywhere now. We keep fighting. And frankly, this sucks. I don't like that I'm hurting you. I don't like that you're hurting me. I don't like how our relationship is turning out. And so to avoid a lot of that, we encourage couples, hey, like, don't assume this. This is a new thing that we're engaging with in one another. We're relating in a new way that maybe we haven't experienced with one another. So let's come in with a lot of grace of learning and discovering each other versus maybe trying to strong arm each other in the way that we like to work. And so for us, as that reality set in, it just caused a lot of pain and a lot of fights and hurts.
I think it also comes with seasons. You're first married and you get into your relationship, you get to know each other really better. And then now you have kids grow older, transitions, changes, different dynamics play. And that adds stress to your marriage and that it can cause a lot of burdens and heaviness. And on top of that, you add business or ministry and leading together. Oh man, it becomes really, really weighty. And so I think as Ivan mentioned that, yeah, I think there's more at stake, I think, for couples who are leading together. Some of you came into this kind of a setting, maybe by accident or just kind of fell into it. And maybe that's even more so of a reason why we need to consider, okay, what's working for us? What are some of the assumptions that we have about working with one another? And how do we make the best out of it? Because, when it works really well, it's the best. I mean, if I can choose one person that I want to work with, like, it'd be Ivan. I think I was going to choose you. It'd be Ivan.
Shocker.
And
It'd be kind of bad if we're doing a podcast and you didn't choose me.
Yeah, so when it's working great, it's so amazing.
It
like
is.
I don't have to say everything. He gets me, he understands me, and so he knows to prepare and things for me. But opposite is true. Man, he can push my button and say things, look me in a way that I don't like, and so that triggers me. And so, there are so many different layers to our marriage and working together. And so, yeah, I really wish that I had a mentor or someone or a guide that have worked together to journey with us. And so that we can
show you what to expect, right?
so maybe consider this, things like that.
Hence our podcast. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, I think we're at a place now where we've truly gone from like, man, this is so hard, it's painful. Did we make a wrong decision? What were we thinking? To there's no other person I'd rather work with. And actually, in our different work capacities, if we get pulled on just individually, our first go-to is how can I bring Ashley in and vice versa to this? Because we know that we're just, as cliche as it sounds, better together, truly. Like I know the way that she complements my working style and how I think. And I love that. And we've journeyed from competing to celebrating. And we're going to talk about that more in the next episode. But really at this place of there's no other person I'd really rather work with than her, because I know, one, the depth we have together, and two, how we complement each other. And that's our hope for you as you're listening, is that you'd be at that place of you prefer working with your spouse. You love working with your spouse. You love leading with them. Do they irritate you? Of course. Goodness. Like, are there things where she interrupts me at certain times?
Oh, yeah.
When I'm in my creative flow and all I want to do is write or think about and all this stuff. And she's like, coming, hey, we got to finish doing this thing. I'm like, that's the last thing I want to do right now. And it can irritate me, but yeah, obviously how you respond, pro tip, how you respond.
Or how I say that to you.
Or how you say that to me makes all the game changer. So anywho, that one was free. That was not in our script, but there you go. You get to receive that one as being a part of this first episode together. So yes, working together, there's more at stake, but it's also incredibly rewarding and very fulfilling as you get to not only lead with each other, but really fulfill what you sense God has called you to do. And I believe at the end of the day, we need to ask for grace from God to do that. Shocker, asking God for grace to do anything he's called us to do, right? But it's true, even in how we lead with one another, how we relate to each other, and how we fulfill what God has called us to build with him, which is really, really cool and really exciting. So we've definitely been through a lot of ups and downs in our working relationship. There's a lot of frustration, confusion, miscommunication. I mean, the list goes on. Unnecessary fights we wish that we didn't have to have, and things that God really used to refine us. He worked it all out for his good, which is great, which is why we're here. And we chose to do a podcast together. And that in and of itself is a whole journey, which we're loving. And it's really another outlet for us to work with each other. But there was really actually a turning point as we began to, kind of butt heads and, man, just whatever analogy you want to use, tug of war, step on each other's toes, fight. And it really came from something simple. Part of our ministry when we were in full-time ministry was we would do monthly updates. And so usually they're an email of some sort. And we dreaded that process of working and figuring it out together with each other. We loved our ministry. We loved letting people know what God was doing. But sitting down together and having to work on it together was really hard. Oftentimes it would take us the full afternoon. Seriously. Usually it was a Saturday afternoon, and we'd kind of have to brace like, okay, here we go, get an extra cup of coffee. This is going to take some time, energy, and effort. And what we found was that over time, there was actually kind of a flow that we stepped into that really helped us, where I would start it and then Ash would come in and kind of backfill or develop it and make it really look nice. And that took us about 5 years to figure out. So we're slow learners, but we made it, and God used it, and it's great.
Oh, no.
So yeah, it was bad, guys. Like literally, if we're at the computer, both of us are very strong individuals. We think our way is the best way, right?
I'm the firstborn, so there you go.
So I would probably be like, no, let me do it. And I would have the computer and figure it
I'd
out
be
here. Like, no, you're doing it wrong. And literally do like the whole like sidearm thing. And then sure enough, we'd probably hurt each other and then it turned into a fight and all that jazz. We share this to say that that simple shift of recognizing, oh, I'm really great at starting stuff. You're really great at kind of developing and finishing it. Let's just apply that to the rest of our newsletters. And lo and behold, it literally changed the way we worked and got that figured out. It went from an afternoon of dreading, feeling like, oh my gosh, this is the last thing I want to do right now on a weekend, to sweet, this is going to be easy. It's great. I know what I'm supposed to do. I know what you're supposed to do. We're going to knock this thing out in like an hour, maybe 90 minutes. And we can go on and we still love each other. We get to celebrate. We'd go on a date, whatever we get to do. And it was incredible. So we essentially took that and then began to apply it to everything. And I'm going to let you share a little bit of how that was like for us. Just letting you know, like, hey, there are times when you as a couple do work well with each other, and reflecting on what went well from that and doing a little reflection, we found was really, really helpful. How did that change things for us as we began to apply that?
Yeah, I think rather than just trying to finish a project or task at hand, I think we stepped back a little bit and said, hey, what works well for us? What doesn't work for us? What are you good at? What am I good at? And so we're trying to pull strength from each other. Because Ivan is a great starter and he's got lots of ideas, I was like, you should actually start with that. I'm really bad at starting something. I'm often frozen. So he would start, but I'm really good at building things, adding meat to the bone, so to speak. And I love finishing things. And so, hey, why don't we pull our strength to make that work? And so we apply that to every process. So obviously with Life Duo, because it's the early stage, we have to kind of do everything and anything.
Yep.
But often he would create something from scratch. Even right now, as we are getting ready for our, podcast, I would say, Ivan, why don't you start something with the script or things that we can talk about? And then I would come in and look at it and be like, hey, I think we should add this. Let's change the order. Let's do it this way. I love the design stuff. And so let's put some light there. We would apply that same principle in everything that we do. It's so simple. And it sounds like, duh, like you didn't know this. I think that really changed a lot of things for us. And I think having him do his things that he loves to do, he's enjoying his work and vice versa.
We're going to do a deep dive into this on the second episode, which is going to be a lot of fun, of just looking at pretty much what you just said. How do we, begin to recognize some of those things of how we work with one another? And it was a game changer. But even as you're saying it sounds so basic.
Yeah.
Like, duh. And that's the thing is like, I don't even know if I have words for it, but for whatever reason, when you're working with your spouse, those thoughts don't come into your mind. I don't know what it is. Like there isn't this moment of like, a step back and think about how we work together. Not once did I ever think about that. And maybe we're the slow learners. Maybe you guys are much smarter than us listening. And this is just like getting back to the basics for you. At least you get to learn from our mistakes, like we said. Maybe this is just true in life. It just comes back to the basics, right? And doing the basics really well. There's a phrase in CrossFit that I appreciated. Virtuosity, I think is how you say it. But it's doing the common things uncommonly well. I just love that. I think when it comes to our walk with God, our leadership, man, the common things of listening, asking questions, being present, letting your yes be yes, letting your no be no, following through, stewarding well what God is, like these things are so common. But to do those things commonly well, obviously we need the Holy Spirit to help us and empower us to do that. All that to say, I think comes back to our relationship with one another, that there are common things. Oh, okay, we're going to approach this project differently because we're different people and we're wired differently and we like doing different parts of work. Thank God. Otherwise, man, if we were both like me, we wouldn't get anything done.
I don't think I would like working with myself, to be honest.
And so it's so easy when we share this, be like, oh yeah, how can you guys not see that? Like you complement each other. But in that, it can get a bit murky because our giftings or our strengths feel more threatening than they do encouraging. So our journey has definitely been one where we have gone through kind of the ups and downs. And truthfully, I'm sure we'll have more ups and downs of working with one another. But we're at a place where we love working with each other. We prefer it, and we want to help other couples get to that place. And there's some skill involved in that for sure. New skills to develop and learn, and we'll share about that in the coming days. There's also the heart piece and the character, but I think God's got that for you. As long as you got a humble heart and you're willing to work through your stuff, that will come around. And so as we come to a close, Ash, any closing thoughts for our watchers or our listeners?
I think we all work together as a couple, formally, informally, right? Whether it is, arranging your life, administrating your schedules with your kids, running a business, whatever it may be, that I think there is always room to grow as a couple. How can I serve my husband better? How can I serve my wife better? Whatever that looks like. And that I think it really does start from, is there an area of my heart that needs to grow? Area of my heart that needs alignment? And so I think thriving as a couple isn't just about work, but it's about your relationship with yourself, with God, and with others. And so,
yeah, love it. It's so much more. Our working relationship with each other is an important aspect, but God is often doing so much more in that. We should probably talk about that in a future podcast.
Okay.
That sounds good.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much for listening, watching, and tuning in. We love talking about this stuff. So make sure to subscribe if you'd like to hear more content around working and leading together as a Christian couple. We would, I'd love to be a part of your life and just serve you in that way. And in the next episode, we're going to take a look at the 5 hidden reasons that couples struggle to work with each other. We're going to expose them and let you know so you don't fall into those same traps that we kind of did. And you get to learn more from our mistakes in that episode. So thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the next one.